Hi, this will be a presentation on how to use Scoutbook to track Boy Scout advancement in troops or crews. Before we begin with Scoutbook, I'd like to just go through the steps of advancement in the Boy Scout program. There are 4 steps to advancement as defined by the Boy Scouts of America in the Boy Scout program. The first step is that a scout learns something. He can learn how to tie a knot. He can learn how to, pledge allegiance to the flag. He learns how to do something. And then he goes to his scoutmaster. The person responsible for this is his scoutmaster. Now, the scoutmaster can delegate this testing to someone else, but the ultimate responsibility for making sure that the scout is tested and has learned what he said he learned is the scoutmaster's. So the scoutmaster tests the scout, and then when the scoutmaster deems that the scout has passed the test, then he signs the scout off in his book. We usually call that a sign-off. And then after all the advancements are done, for all the requirements are done for a rank, then the rank is reviewed at a board of review, and then the rank is awarded to the scout at the next meeting or at sometime soon. Now, the BSA requirement on recognizing or awarding the badge is that the badge is recorded in with the council, local council. So that's one of the things that Scoutbook can do. So each of these 4 steps that are outlined, and they're outlined in the Boy Scout Handbook, they're also outlined in the leader materials and in the Guide to Advancement. For these 4 steps, Scoutbook has a corresponding designation or process within inside of Scoutbook to get that done. So we'll talk about how that happens. Okay, so now we can go in as a parent, and this is the way a parent would indicate that they think the scout is done or has completed something, or a scout who has been invited by their parent will log in and they will see this screen. This is called the dashboard. So either a scout or a parent will see this. As we go through this flow, anything that a scout or a parent can do, a leader in the troop can do, like the scoutmaster or assistant scoutmaster. But we're setting it up this way so that you see the flow as it would probably normally happen in a troop. So a scout or parent thinks that the scout has completed a requirement. All right, what they can do is they can go in and click on their scout's name, and they can go to their advancement section, which is right here, and they can say, okay, if my scout is working, let's say, on the scout rank, I can click on that, and here are all the requirements for the scout rank. I can then click on a requirement, and as a parent, I can say, I think the scout has completed it on a certain date. And then I can save that. Now notice I'm not saying that he's been tested, which is the second step. I'm saying the first step. The scout has learned something. So in Scoutbook, that first step is indicated by completion, that the scout thinks that he has completed that, he or she has completed that requirement, and so they mark it as completed. Notice that when it's marked as completed, they get a green check mark. So that indicates to the unit that somebody, the scout, a scoutmaster, a unit leader, or a parent, thinks that the scout has completed that requirement. Now they can do it for every requirement that they think they have finished, or they can do it for the entire rank. Same way, you click on the box and you put in a date and say when you think that was done, and then click Save. So again, a parent with full rights can do this, and we do recommend that you give parents full rights. Realize that they cannot say that the scout has been signed off on the requirement. Notice that there is no indication here that the scout has been signed off on anything. The only thing that it indicates is that the scout has completed a requirement. So they can go in and do that for the advancement requirements. This is up here on the top is kind of a quick menu. They can click on the fact that he's within the troop. You can see the whole troop, or you can see the menu items for the scout. We're in the advancement section and the scout rank requirements. So if we go back to the advancement section, we can look at the other ranks and we can indicate things for the other ranks. There are merit badges on the bottom here. Let's say the scout has begun a merit badge. If the troop hasn't already set them up on the merit badge, the scout can click on Start Another Merit Badge and then select which merit badge that is. And they can say, well, I've done this requirement on this merit badge. But notice that for a scout and for a parent, they can only again select that the scout has completed a requirement. They can't say that he has been signed off on it. So, and a scout can work on a merit badge at any time, but he has to go to a merit badge counselor, and only a merit badge counselor can sign him off. So in this case, he's just indicating, keeping track of, well, I know this already, I can get tested on this, I think I'm ready to be tested on this. And that's really all he's saying at this point. So you get the idea. He can do that for the ranks, and he can do that for any of the awards that are out there as well by doing the same sort of selecting and indicating that it's completed. A unit leader can do the same thing. A unit leader can say, hey, he's just completed it. I'm not going to sign him off on it, but he's completed it. And I'll show you the unit leader screens here in a minute. So this is what a parent can do and what a scout can do. Okay, so now let's go in as a unit leader. As a unit leader, you'll see the units that you are a leader in, and you will click on your unit, and you will see all of the scouts that you have connections to in your unit. Somebody like a scoutmaster or a unit troop admin, those people will see all of the scouts in the unit, in the troop. And they can click on the unit roster or the troop roster here, and they'll see all the adults on the left and all the scouts on the right. So what they can do is let me go into a particular scout, and we can see from that, from the scout, what it is that we can do as a unit leader that the parent couldn't do. So going back into a scout here, if you go into the Scout's advancement, you will notice that you have the same sort of option where you can mark something as complete, but you can mark it as complete, and you can also mark it, see this line down here, it says leader approved and recorded. So you can mark it that I have actually, not only has the Scout completed it, but we have recorded it today, and I have signed him off. Okay. With Scout Book, when he's in the sync, once you sign off a requirement, it's a done deal. So be very careful at that testing phase that you really did test the Scout. Don't just say, well, he was with a bunch of other Scouts and they all watch somebody give a lecture, and because of that, he's satisfied the requirement. Well, read the requirement. He's got to do what the requirement says, and you have to see him do it. Now, you can be the Scoutmaster. Scoutmaster can delegate that to somebody, and then somebody, either the Scoutmaster or whoever's testing them, or the unit, the troop admin, goes in and marks the fact that that item was completed and approved. Now notice that the check mark here is not green, it's blue. And blue means that it's been approved. If there's ever a question about it, you can click on the item and it'll say that it was approved and who approved it. So in this case, this requirement was approved by William Nelson, and it was approved on 2/10/2018. So that's a way of finding out, or that's a way of approving or signing off in their book, signing off on a requirement. And then when you get completely done with it, with the rank, you can approve the entire rank and say that that rank has been completely awarded or completely approved. He's been signed off. Let's say you're sitting on a board of review. He finishes everything. He finishes the board of review. You can then say, great, for this rank, we have signed him off on this rank. And then you can mark the date. You can mark that it was approved, and you can save it. And then the rank itself is marked as earned. Notice that? And it's a blue check mark. Again, the green check mark just means somebody thinks he finished it. All right. The blue check mark is important. That means it's approved. Once it's approved, it's earned. Once done, it's done. So be very careful approving things. Make sure that it's done and the boy is tested. You can then enter it into Scout Book. Once you have approved a rank, that is recorded at council. So right now, I just approved this rank. My troop is in sync, so that Scout's rank of Tenderfoot is now recorded at council, or on its way to being recorded at council. It could take a little bit, but it's on its way to being recorded at council. Let's say I make a mistake. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. I can go in, click on it, backspace over the date, or change the date, remove the awarded flag, and click Save. All right. Now, a leader can do this and go in and make corrections. And everybody, whatever you have the power to do, you can go in and you can make corrections on that. Notice that on the rank side, I can not only indicate that it was approved. If I leave that off, it goes in as completed, which is the green check mark that we had. I can mark it as approved, which is the blue check mark. I can also say we already gave him the badge. All right, and that's awarded, and you click Save, and now you have a yellow check mark here. Technically, the requirement in the BSA is that you report to council before you purchase a bag. Before you award a badge to a scout, you report it to council. If your troop is in sync and the scout is in sync, as soon as you mark it approved, you have reported it to council. So you can give them a badge, if you have one, right then and there, if you wanted to. And then you can mark it as earned. So you have that ability to do that as a leader or a unit admin. And that's how you would track your scouts. Now let's say you have a bunch of scouts that you want to give awards, you want to credit their advancement for. We have a quick entry feature. So if you go to your troop level, and I did that by clicking on the troop, and then you click on quick entry, notice that I can enter rank requirements or merit badges or merit badge requirements, individual requirements for a merit badge, or awards. I can put in service hours, camping hours, camping nights, and hiking miles. in a group. That's what this quick entry allows you to do. So let's go back to the rank requirements. Let's say I had a bunch of scouts that were working on tenderfoot requirements. I can select the scouts, the requirement, which requirement that they were working on, and I can select more than one. I can say that on a certain date that they were completed it, but they still need to be tested. So if I say completed and I don't click approved, then it's just going to indicate they completed it. That's, remember, it's a green check mark. It's that first of the 4 steps. A scout learned something. Okay. The second step, a scout is tested, is indicated again by leader approved. So I would put a date in and put leader approved. And then these are the scouts that have not received tenderfoot yet. I would select them, and because I'm working on a tenderfoot requirement, whichever scouts I wanted to, and then I would say save, and it saves those requirements to the scouts that I indicated, and as either as approved or as completed, depending on what I indicate. Now let's say you're a unit troop admin, or you're the scoutmaster, and you say, you know, the scouts have been working hard. They've been recording their advancements, or somebody has been recording their advancements. But I bet you there's some stuff out there that still needs to be approved. That's been marked as completed, but it still needs to be approved. How can I find that? Well, we have some reports that allow you to do that. And it's under, again, the troop menu, under reports, and it's called the Needs Approval Report. So if you click on Needs Approval Report, you'll see all the scouts that have anything that's marked completed but not approved. So you can go in to the scout and say, okay, Shane says he's got some completed stuff, and it tells you in this kind of light printing here that he has athletics merit badge requirements he's marked as completed. Here, Luke, we've been working on Luke. Luke says he's got a life-saving merit badge requirement that needs to be approved. And it shows here on the right how many of those requirements out there, or items, I should say, that he has that he thinks needs to be marked approved. So you can go in and click on the name, and it'll show, well, this is what it is. In this case, it's life-saving requirement 7. If you think he's been tested on that, you can mark it approved and click mark as approved. Notice that as a leader, I can mark merit badge requirements as approved in Scoutbook, even if I am not a merit badge counselor, not registered as a merit badge counselor for that particular badge. So be very careful of what you're marking as approved. You still need to follow the BSA policy that only merit badge counselors who are registered for the merit badge can approve a requirement or a badge, a merit badge for their particular merit badge set. So make sure you're following that policy. We do not enforce that at this time in Scoutbook. That may happen in the future, but at the present time, we let anybody, including the unit admin, mark something as approved. A merit badge is approved. Parents cannot mark merit badges approved unless they're also some sort of a troop leader, and scouts cannot mark merit badges approved at all, ever. Okay, so there's a little back arrow here. This goes back to the previous screen. So if I went back, I'm now back at that quick entry screen. And just to show you that it could be 1 or 2 items. It could be a lot of items that need approval. We also allow you to approve everything. And you click on Approve All. It'll actually approve anything that's marked as complete. It'll mark it as approved. So that's a feature, but be careful when using it. And remember, marking something approved means that you have tested the scout and you are signing his book on the scout, kind of electronically signing the book. We do recommend that you keep signing Boy Scout handbooks as backup copies, especially if the boy moves to a troop that's not using an electronic form of tracking. It'll allow you to have the, he has then a copy or a backup of his advancements. There are a number of troop reports that are available. We did show you the needs approval report. The next step I'm going to show you is how to actually produce a report for the Scout Shop. So you'll go in and click on Needs Purchasing Report. So with the Needs Purchasing Report, it'll tell you everything that has been approved that is a badge that you wouldn't have to go to the Scout Shop to buy. So you've not awarded it, it's not marked awarded, but it is marked approved. So in this case, we have 2 Scout rank emblems, and we have an Eagle Palm pin. Now you can select, I only want to buy these 2 items. I don't want to buy this one here. I know he's not going to be around for a while. I'll wait and buy it later. There's also a select all here if you want to select everything that's on the list. So then you can either create a new, what we call a purchase order or a PO, or if one was already opened that you haven't used yet, you haven't gone to the Scout Shop yet for it, you can add those to the PO. So in this case, I had demoed it and there is a PO that I had created. So here's the PO now with my things that I just added plus anything else that was in there previously. And it gives you a shopping list. It gives you the total quantity of the items. It gives you what the items are. It gives you an estimated price and a total for you to use. This is what we call a purchase order. You can print this, or you can save it as a CSV file for Excel. So after you have your shopping list, this is not what you necessarily give to the Scout Shop. This is for your own use when buying stuff. Down at the bottom of the page, it says Advancement Report. So you would click on that, and it would produce a PDF file that you can take to the Scout Shop. And I'll open this up for you. And hand in. So this is what your council requires normally for you to bring to the Scout Shop. So if you take a look at this file, you can see that it looks familiar. It's the form that you normally would give to the Scout Shop. And you'd hand it in. And at the bottom of the form, it says Scout Note Advancement Sync, which says that you are synced. Everything that's on this form has been reported to the council. And the way you did that was you just approved it in Scout Book. It's as easy as that. And this is the form then that you give to the Scout Shop. While you're in your PO, I want to show you that towards the bottom, underneath the report that we did for the Scout Shop, you'll see it says Print Pocket Certificates. This allows you to actually print the pocket certificates for merit badges that are in your PO. And what it does is it prints on top of the sheets that you can buy at the Scout Shop. So, and it's pretty straightforward. You just click on the print screen and it'll bring up a PDF file for the merit badge pocket certificates, and then you can print that right on top of the merit badge pocket certificates for your Court of Honor or any sort of a presentation ceremony you have. So it fills them out for you, and you would print them right on top of the sheets that you buy at the Scout Shop. You can go back and close the PO, because now I've got my shopping list, I've got my form that I want to give to the Scout Shop. I don't want to keep adding to this PO. I want to create a new one the next time I go in. So I close that PO, and it then puts it in the archive. So here, if you wanted to then open it later, you could click on that View Close POs, and you can open it later. So this is your archive of previous POs that you had created for your troop. So now you're ready to go to the Scout Shop. You take the report that you printed out, the unit advancement report, and you'd bring that to the Scout Shop. You can bring your shopping list out of the purchase order and use that as a shopping list. Go to the Scout Shop and buy the advancements, and then bring them back. You can match them up with the recognition cards for the merit badges if you want, and you're all ready and set for a Court of Honor. Now I'd like to show you a report that can be used at a Court of Honor. To do a Court of Honor, I want to know of the stuff that's approved out there. I want to be able to now award it, right? So I'm going to click on the recognition report, and what this will allow you to do is give it a time span. Very often it's going to be a quarter. It could be, it could be 2 quarters since your last Court of Honor. Give it some sort of a date span that you want here, and include only the stuff that's not awarded. You haven't marked it as awarded yet, and that was that gold check mark I showed you. So you just want to include the stuff that's not awarded, and then you'll run that report, and well, in this case I don't have anything, so I guess I'll have to go back in time here. Okay, so, and it'll show you the awards that have not been awarded yet. It'll tell you when the scout earned it, and you'll see it'll list the scouts by name, and it'll give it you by patrol as well, and by award, and then a summary of the total, so that you can use this report and you can run it. You can sort it different ways. You can include the awarded or the not awarded, and you can print it as a PDF so that you can bring it for your Court of Honor. So I wanted to show you that report. That's called the Boy Scout Recognition Report, and that's pretty much the flow from the. Remember the 4 steps again. A scout learns something. He learns something, and somebody indicates it's completed, and in Scout Book. And then he is tested. He's tested, and after he passes the test, the authorized person to pass him then signs him off and approves it in Scout Book, marks it as approved. And then he's reviewed. So he goes to a board of review. So for ranks, he has to go to a board of review before that rank is approved. So it's at the board of review that you approve the rank. Anybody at the board of review who's authorized can approve the rank in Scout Book, or the unit admin after the fact can approve the rank in Scout Book. And then I showed you how to create a purchase order to buy the stuff at the Scout Shop, and the unit advancement report to bring to the Scout Shop. And then you're ready for your Court of Honor after a quarter or 2 quarters, and you do you print the needs awarding report for your Court of Honor. So these are just different reports that you can get. This is the flow within Scout Book. We have separate videos. We have to get into more detail maybe on other things. We have a video for merit badge counselors. We have a video on how you would add a merit badge counselor or invite one to work with the Scout if the merit badge counselor wanted to work one-on-one with the Scout inside of Scout Book or a group of Scouts. Again, the unit admin and the Scoutmaster and committee chair, those people can pretty much do everything in Scout Book. Parents are limited in what they can do. Scouts are limited in what they can do. Committee members, by and far, are limited in what they can do. They usually in their area that they can do stuff in. So it's something to use. There's a lot of flexibility in the Scout Book of how you as a unit want to use it. If you funnel everything through a advancement chair, the advancement chair can do everything in the Scout Book. If you want to try to do it and break it up the way Scout Book can handle it, the way I kind of presented it, you can do that as well. And you can do everything in between. So we hope you have a great time with Scout Book, but we wanted to show you what you could do and how the flow, the advancement flow works in using it with Scout Book.